Good evening. My name is Steve Dreschler, Project Manager for Alfred Benish & Company. Tonight we're here to present State Project 12094, Route 85 improvements in the town of Salem. The intent of tonight's meeting is for the design team to present the project and to solicit questions or feedback from the public on the preliminary design prior to moving forward with the final design phase. The agenda for tonight's meeting will begin with a brief introduction of the design team. We will then provide some instructions on how to pose a question in this virtual meeting. We will then provide an overview of the two sections of the proposed project. We will then discuss anticipated project impacts. Finally, we will present the project schedule and cost, and then open it up to questions. And now a brief introduction to the design team. Oversight of State Project 12094 is being provided by the Connecticut Department of Transportation. Alfred Benish & Company is serving as the prime consultant, providing highway design, traffic design, and hydraulic design services. Benish is supported by 4 sub-consultant firms: GCA Geoenvironmental, providing environmental permitting; Freeman Companies, providing geotechnical services; FHI Studios, providing public outreach services; and AHS Cultural Resource Management, providing archaeologic and historic investigation services. The project team for the Connecticut Department of Transportation consists of Susan Libatique as principal engineer, Jeff Favinger, project manager, and Jason Vincent, project engineer. Presenting tonight for Benish are myself, Steve Dreschler, project manager, and Laith Alatar, highway engineer. Also joining us tonight from FHI Studio is Stephanie Brooks for public outreach.
We would greatly appreciate it if you could fill out a brief survey that the department has through SurveyMonkey. The virtual public informational meeting platform is still a relatively new one for the department, and this survey will help the department improve these public meetings going forward. There's also a civil rights flyer available. Both the links to the survey and civil rights flyer are located on the previously mentioned project webpage. And lastly, I am required to read the following statement as part of the Title VI Civil Rights Act, and that is, no person shall, on the basis of race, color, or national origin, be excluded from participation or subject to discrimination in the development of this project.
If you are viewing through Microsoft Teams, you can post a question or comment by clicking the little question mark to the top right of the presentation window and clicking the My Questions tab or the Ask a Question button. You then have an option to enter your name and type your question into the Ask a Question field. Click the checkbox to post anonymously, then click the double arrow or hit Enter to post a question. Click Featured to view announcements and attendee questions. You may experience a delay before your own sent question is posted. You can exit the questions window by clicking X and can return to it at any time by clicking the Show Q&A question mark. Click the My Questions tab to post another question or hit X to close the window again. To maximize the presentation window, click the arrow to the bottom right of the presentation window and click the arrow again to reduce the window size.
Now, with the formalities aside, let's get into a discussion of the project. This slide presents the overall project location. As the slide indicates, State Project 12094 consists of 2 distinct segments along Route 85 north of the intersection with Route 82. Section 1 involves improvements to Route 85 in the vicinity of Sullivan Road. Segment 2 consists of improvements to Route 85 adjacent to the intersection with Music Vale Road. As a spot improvements project, each section has its own unique purpose and need. The objective of Section 1 is to enhance the long-term stability of Route 85 in the vicinity of Sullivan Road. The objective of Section 2 is to improve safety at the Route 85 intersection with Music Vale Road. Let's start first with Section 1. Section 1 has an approximate length of 1,100 linear feet in the vicinity of Sullivan Road. The primary deficiency of this segment is the existing masonry retaining wall located along the east edge of road, also adjacent to existing federal and state wetlands. Also of note within this segment is an existing rock outcropping which is located along the west edge of road. The image on the left, looking north along Route 85, shows the rock outcropping just described. Also along this photo, you can note the narrow shoulders in this section. The image on the left shows the existing masonry retaining wall along the east edge of roadway. As you can note, some erosion has taken place and some settlement of the stone is noted. Route 85 at Sullivan Road is classified as a rural major collector and is not included on the National Highway System. The average daily traffic, as measured in 2019, is 3,000 vehicles per day. The prevailing speeds along this section of the road are between 49 and 50 miles per hour, and the posted speed limit is 45 miles per hour. A review of the crash history from January of 2017 to December of 2019 showed that 2 crashes had occurred, both involving collisions with fixed objects. At this time, I'll turn it over to Laith Alatar, highway designer, to provide some detail on the work proposed for this section.
For this slide, Section 1 Highway Plan, the proposed safety improvement includes establishing a roadway width of 32 feet consisting of 2 12-foot travel lanes and 4-foot shoulders. There is a poor condition masonry retaining wall which will be replaced with a steeper slope reinforced embankment. The proposed work also includes installation of new guide rail along the east and west side of Route 85 to improve safety and a new drainage system along the west side of Route 85. For this slide, Section 1, Route 85 profile. For the segment 120-1, the intent of the full depth reconstruction to improve road safety and make it adequately meet the design standards. For this slide, Section 1, critical section, as we mentioned before, segment 120-1, Route 85 will be constructed to a 32-foot wide roadway with 1 12-foot lane and a 4-foot shoulder in each direction. The use of reinforced steeper slope will reduce impacts to wetlands, which is located at the base of the existing embankment.
This slide represents the proposed approach to addressing the deteriorated retaining wall along the east edge of Route 85. Rather than replace the existing wall with a new wall, it is proposed to utilize a reinforced earth slope as shown on the left side of the page. This detail utilizes a geosynthetic reinforcement which allows for a more steep slope than what would be able to be achieved by utilizing normal grading. The benefit of this approach is that it yields a more durable solution that is relatively maintenance-free in a location with difficult site access restrictions. Also, by utilizing the steeper slope, we are able to minimize potential impacts to wetlands and private property along the base of this slope. Let's move on now to Section 2, Route 85 at Music Vale Road. As a reminder, this slide shows the relative location of segment 2, the section at Music Vale Road, with segment 1 at Sullivan Road, and with the intersection with Route 82. The primary deficiency at this location is the limited sight line looking from Music Vale Road south along Route 85. As the picture on the left shows, there is an embankment on the east edge of road, as well as a hump in the vertical alignment of Route 85, which obscures the view south along Route 85. The proposed plan for this location is to reconstruct a little over 200 linear feet of Route 85. This includes regrading of the adjacent embankments. The existing grade along Route 85 will be slightly lowered to improve those sight lines in this location. This slide shows a typical cross-section at section 2. As the image shows, the existing grade along Route 85 is being lowered by several inches, and the embankment along the east edge of roadway is being reduced significantly, both in order to improve the sight lines. Now that we've presented both sections, let's get into a discussion of anticipated project impacts, starting with wetland impacts. State Project 12094 does include some anticipated wetland impacts all along Section 1. As discussed earlier, our design considered the use of reinforced earth slopes as compared to typical sloping. This slide quantifies some of the benefits of using the steeper slopes. And looking at state wetlands, the reinforced earth slope has an environmental impact of 745 square feet, whereas if we had used traditional sloping, this impact would be 2,925. Considering federal wetlands, the reinforced earth slope has 0 impact, whereas the normal slope would have had 750 square feet of impacts. As discussed, Section 2 has no wetland impacts anticipated. The anticipated environmental permits for this project are a CT DEEP Inland Wetlands Permit and a U.S. Army Corps of Engineers General Permit. As a part of preliminary design, archaeological assessment surveys were performed by our subconsultant AHS along both sections of this project. AHS found that both sections have low archaeological sensitivity. That said, some recommendations were provided for this work. Along Section 1, recommendation was made to restore any disturbed fieldstone walls that are located along this section using original stone. There was also an existing stone mile marker along the west edge of roadway near Sullivan Road, which is directed to be carefully reset as needed if disturbed. Along Section 2, a recommendation was made to protect foundation remains associated with the Music Vale School that are located outside of the anticipated project work limits. This project also includes some anticipated rights-of-way impacts to adjacent properties. Along Segment 1, there are 2 properties with anticipated impacts: 580 Hartford Road and 566 Hartford Road. Along Segment 2, there's 1 property, 9 Music Vale Road, at which we anticipate potential property impacts. Starting at Section 1 at Sullivan Road, at the property at 580 Hartford Road, the anticipated strip acquisition is shown as the sliver in red. The anticipated slope easement is shown as the area shaded in yellow. At the property at 566 Hartford Road, the anticipated slope easement is this area here shaded in yellow. Moving to Section 2, The anticipated impact at 9 Musicville Road is a slope easement shown as highlighted in red. Also within this area, it is anticipated that an existing fence will need to be replaced. At this time, I will turn it over to Dennis McDonald of the Connecticut DOT Rights-of-Way Unit for some additional discussion on the rights-of-way process.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Dennis McDonald, and I'm a representative from the Connecticut Department of Transportation, Division of Rights-of-Way. I'm just going to provide a brief overview of the right-of-way process. So the function of the Division of Rights-of-Way is to acquire all property and property rights necessary for the project. This is done in accordance with Connecticut General Statute Section 13A73, 13A98E, and the Uniform Relocation Assistance and Real Property Acquisition Policies Act of 1970 as amended. Your typical right-of-way impacts include partial acquisitions, easements, and rights. Impacts are subject to change as the design progresses, but this gives a general idea of typical property impacts. Once property impacts have been established, each impacted property owner will receive a letter of intent to acquire along with a property acquisition map. The letter essentially initiates the right-of-way process, and the map provides a detailed overview of the specific right-of-way impacts. Soon after the letter is received, evaluation process will take place, and once a value has been established, each impacted property owner will receive a written offer of compensation. Property owners will be given time to consider the offer and negotiate should they wish. If an agreement is reached, an acceptance document will be signed, and a closing will take place at a later date. If an agreement is not reached for whatever reason, the state will utilize its power of eminent domain and acquire the property rights through the condemnation process. Now, I understand this has a negative connotation, but many times this is done to keep a project on schedule. If the state elects to pursue eminent domain, the original offer is deposited in the court system, and property owners can continue negotiations or file a formal appeal for a reassessment of damages through the court system. Please note all appeals must be filed within 6 months from the date in which the state files for eminent domain. And that is all I have for tonight. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Dennis. This is Steve Dreschler again. Next, I want to touch on the anticipated traffic impacts resulting from the proposed work. It is anticipated that the work to reconstruct these portions of roadway along both sections will require 1 lane of traffic to be taken out at certain times. During these times, 1 lane of alternating traffic along Route 85 will be maintained. Access to Sullivan Road and Musicville Road will be maintained at all times. And finally tonight, we'll close with a discussion of the project schedule and estimated cost. The current schedule calls for design completion and advertising in the fall of 2022. Construction is anticipated to start in spring of 2023, and completion is anticipated in the fall of 2023. The estimated project construction cost is $2 million. Funding for this project consists of 80% federal funds and 20% state funds. And this concludes our presentation for this evening. At this time, we're happy to answer any questions that may have arisen through the chat. On the screen are the various ways that you can contact the design team if you have any additional questions following the meeting. Thank you very much for your attention and for your interest in this project.
Hello, everyone. We're going to start accepting some questions now. If you have any questions, you can always use the Q&A function. As you see on your slide here, you go to My Questions, you ask a question, and you can press Enter, ask a question, and your questions can come up. For those of you who are on YouTube, if you want to click the Show More button on YouTube, you can view the project website, the project phone number, And you can, or leave us a voicemail at 860-944-1111. And we have some questions coming in shortly. I see a question that asks, what sightline benefit does the $2 million buy? Or sorry, it's supposed to be $200,000. What sightline does the $200,000 buy?
Okay, this is Steve Dressler. I'll start with the first response on this. So actually, the cost is $2 million actually. So the number is correct. So again, it's not just for the sightline. There are two sites. So the sightline is a improvement at the Music Vale Road site. And the additional work that's proposed at Sullivan Road is to maintain the long-term stability of Route 85. So because that retaining wall is in poor shape, if it's not addressed, then we'll have additional deterioration as this moves on. And so again, it's not just for the sightline, but it's also for the total project. And keep in mind that this price also includes some of the incidental costs of construction, construction inspection services for the work as well. So there's a lot that goes into that number.
And just to sort of add into that, this is Jeff Pafflinger with the Connecticut Department of Transportation. The sightline restriction at the Music Vale Road intersection currently restricts it to about 350 feet, which is well short of what's typically required or typically desired for an intersection with that speed coming down Route 85. And we will be able to achieve the full design standard of 555 feet with that improvement.
Thank you so much. I do believe we might be having some more questions coming in, but in the meantime, I'm going to provide links to the email address, the website, and the survey in the Q&A so that you can access it yourself during the meeting. Again, all of this information is available on the website. And for those of you who are on the phone, there is a 2-week comment period that it begins now through Wednesday, September 15th, 2021. You can provide comments via email at dotproject120-94@ct.gov or leave us a voicemail at 860-944-1111. Please indicate the project number when you do so on the voicemail, the project number 12094. And again, this information is also available on the project website. It's portalct.gov/DOT Salem 12094. And also on the YouTube, for those of you who are in YouTube, if you go to the Show More button, you can also access the survey, which I have put here in the chat. We'd love to hear your thoughts about the meeting. As was mentioned before, this is still a new platform for all of us, so we have a nice survey for you, if you don't mind taking it at the end of the meeting. I do see another comment has come through. The question is, what is the hydraulic impact of the wetlands impact? Will other parts of the adjacent private property be inundated with water?
Okay, this is Steve Dressler again. I'll call up the slide showing the area. Again, the fill that's in this location, looking at the overall larger watercourse area of Big Brook, it is a nominal increase in this location, which will have negligible impact on the hydrology at this location. And there's no anticipated impacts to any other property based on this fill.
Thank you so much. We appreciate all these comments. And we'll be here for at least 15 minutes after this meeting to keep answering your comments or questions that you have. Just fill them into the Q&A, and they will be answered verbally. And just so you know, for those of you who are not on the screen on Teams right now, you can join us through leaving a voicemail at 860-944-1111 for your comments, and just make sure you indicate the project number 120-94. I do see another question has come through. Thanks so much. This question asks, why was a retaining wall eliminated from consideration at Sullivan, given that there is a wetlands impact?
Okay, this is Steve Dreschler again. As I'd mentioned before, during the presentation, the use of a retaining wall creates issues here from a long-term viability at this location. It is a location with difficult site access. We did consider looking at a retaining wall. We looked at traditional slopes, which a traditional slope would have for every 2 feet out, you would go down 2 feet down, so a 2 foot on 1 foot slope. But we looked at that reinforced earth slope as detailed in what is proposed, and that allows us to do a 1.5 on 1 slope. And again, looking at the limited wetlands impacts that were associated with that, the overall benefit to the project by having a more reliable, maintenance-free approach justified to the project team that this was a more suitable approach than utilizing the retaining wall, which would be difficult to maintain over time.
Great, thanks so much, Steve. And I don't think I introduced myself. My name is Stephanie Brooks, and I'm your moderator. I just wanted to note, we probably will have some more comments coming in, but for those of you who may want to think about some of the material or review the presentation a little bit online, it will be posted within 5 business days to the project website. We are accepting comments through September 15th, so you've got time to think about further questions you may have. If you want to give it a little more time and you don't want to feel like you have to have everything answered tonight, you can always email us. You can always leave voicemail. And again, we accept comments until September 15th. I do believe we might have another comment coming in shortly, so just stay tuned. Another question. Okay, we have a question asking the responses to the questions in the chat where they are being posted. I
can answer this one. Yeah, this is Jeff Paffinger again from the Department of Transportation. Since this video is going to be posted for all to see on YouTube and on our project website at the conclusion of this meeting, we're responding to all types questions verbally so that it can be seen in the video in the future, because this chat isn't going to be included in the recording of it later. So all questions that are being typed into the question and answer chat are being responded to verbally, and everybody can hear them.
Thank you, Jeff. And we still have time for more questions if people have them. Again, I will, in case you didn't see them, I'll place links to the email address and the website in the Q&A, so you can have them available to if you have further comments you would like to add later on. Again, through September 15th, we're taking comments. And we want to thank you so much for being here tonight. And luckily you can view this this meeting virtually, and you don't have to be out in the crazy weather with our friend Hurricane Ida. So thank you all for being here, and we really appreciate your feedback. I do believe we will have a couple more questions coming in shortly. And again, for those of you who are on YouTube, if you click the Show More button, a little bit down below your screen, you can view the project website link, the project email address, and the project phone number so that you can provide comments. And there is also a survey link available, the same link I've been putting here into the Q&A. So after the meeting, we'd love for you to take a few minutes and let us know what you think as we continue to get acclimated to these virtual platforms. We do have another question that has come in asking, what is the cost to the town?
This is Steve Dreschler again. I'll take this one. As I mentioned during the presentation, as this project is being funded at an 80% federal level and 20% state level, there is no cost to the town for this project.
Great, thank you, Steve. And again, for those of you who are on the phone, I will just read out the information that I placed in the Q&A, noting that there is a 2-week comment period through Wednesday, September 15th, 2021. You can provide comments via email at dotproject120-94, all no spaces between that, dotproject120-94@ct.gov. Or you can leave us a voicemail at 860-944-1111. And when you leave the voicemail, please indicate the project number so that we can track it. Project number is 120-94. All of this information is also available on the project website at portal.ct.gov/DOT Salem 120-94. And if you'd like to take a survey after the meeting, you can go to www.surveymonkey.com/R/C Z339K. That's again, surveymonkey.com/R/R like Robert, C like cat, Z like zebra, 339K. And we'd love to get your feedback on tonight's virtual meeting. Do believe we have another question coming in shortly, so I will let the audience know shortly what that is. Okay, we have a question. A participant has asked, will residents be able to access their driveways during construction?
Yes, thanks, Stephanie. Yes, the answer is that access to all abutting properties will be maintained during construction. As mentioned during the presentation, there will be times that we need to restrict Route 85 down to 1 lane, alternating traffic during off-peak hours, but at all times, access to driveways will be maintained.
Great, thank you so much, Steve. And again, thank you guys so much for being here tonight. Thank you for your comments and your feedback. Again, we have a 2-week comment period through Wednesday, September 15th. So you have other opportunities. If you review this presentation again, once it's online on the website and you have a question and you didn't get to ask tonight, or if you share this presentation with someone who wasn't able to attend tonight, you can give them information to the website. And you can, apologies, we just had a flash flood warning. Okay. For those of you who would like to give this information to someone who wasn't able to attend tonight, perhaps, you're always welcome to direct them to the website, portal.ct.gov/DOT Salem 120-94, where they can view the presentation. And again, since we have comments open till September 15th, you can provide comments via email, leave us a voicemail, and indicate the project number. All of this information is available on the website, and the presentation will be available there as well. Again, thank you guys for joining tonight. I hope everyone's staying nice and safe and dry. And again, for those of you who are on YouTube, you can click the Show More button below the screen, the video screen, and you can view the project website link, the project email address, and the project phone number, so you can provide comments. The survey link is also available there, and after the meeting, we hope you will take a few minutes to let us know what you think. And just a reminder, the recording will be available within 5 business days on the project website. You can visit portal.ct.gov/DOT Salem 120-94 to view the presentation. And as mentioned before, for those of you who are new to the live event Q&A, we are answering these questions verbally because when the meeting is recorded, the chat will not be displayed. So it's important that we state verbally the responses and we state verbally your questions so that they can be verbally available for the project record. And we are still taking comments if people have additional questions that they would like to ask. We will be posting these into the Q&A and they will be answered verbally. So fire away, whatever is on your mind about the project or anything you needed clarification on that was presented tonight. I know it was a lot of information, so thank you for your patience and for your attendance, and any questions you have about any of the materials, we are available to answer it. And again, for those of you who are new to a Teams live event, we are just sharing our the video here and verbally responding to questions. We aren't showing any video right now of any of our participants, basically to save bandwidth, especially on a night like tonight. So thank you for your consideration, and when you fill out the Q&A and your comments, we really love hearing from you. And we still have a little time if anybody else has something they'd like to ask or needs any clarification on. And I will put the survey link towards the end of our comment period shortly. And again, we still have a couple more minutes if people would like to provide some feedback on the presentation or anything they saw today. And we are getting a couple more questions in, so I believe we will have some verbal responses shortly.
Okay, this is Jeff Paffinger from the Department of Transportation again. There was a question that came in through the voicemail from a resident of Music Vale Road asking about some impacts to a fence that's on his property. We will be reaching out to any impacted property owners as the design progresses, but I will say to that one specifically, we will be replacing any fencing that's impacted. So in the, if we do end up needing to take down the fence to grade, we will be replacing it in kind when the project is completed.
Thanks so much, Jeff. And again, for those of you watching the presentation on YouTube, these live event Q&A links that I'm placing into the Q&A are not available. So if you click the Show More button, you can view all of the links that I'm providing here during the Q&A, the project website link, the project email address, and the phone number, so you can provide comments. And again, when you're calling that phone number, please mention the project number, 120-94. You can leave a voicemail anytime before September 15th or an email anytime before September 15th. And I just placed in the Q&A just a link to our survey. We'd love to get your feedback. You can visit this link in the Q&A and let us know what you think. This link is also available for those of you on YouTube under the Show More button. You can click it and just let us know what you think about the virtual platform. Okay, I think we might have one or two more questions coming in, so just stay tuned. And while we're organizing the questions, just as a reminder, the recording of this meeting will be available within 5 business days on the project website. You can visit portal.ct.gov/DOT Salem 120-94 to view the presentation and also provide additional comments. Or if there's someone that you would like to see this presentation who wasn't able to join us tonight, they can view it on the website until September 15th, and they can provide any comments or feedback they have.
This is Jeff Paffinger again from the Connecticut Department of Transportation. We did get a voicemail in from the first selectman asking all of us, audience and presenters combined, for attending and putting together the materials for the project. And I'd like to second that. Thank you everybody for taking time out of your nights to listen to our presentation and providing feedback. That is important to us here at the department.
Great, thank you so much, Jeff, and many thanks to the First Selectman for reaching out to us all today. And again, just as a reminder, I put the information about the comment period through Wednesday, September 15th, and the email address, phone number, and the project website, in addition to our survey. So we look forward to hearing more from you if you have additional things to say. Okay, we are nearing 8 o'clock, so we are going to be closing the meeting shortly, but we did want to do one last call if anyone else had any questions or feedback or anything they wanted to state in the Q&A. We are available and we're happy to hear from you. Okay, just so you know, we have our comment period available through Wednesday, September 15th, 2021. And we'd love to hear from you about the meeting, take a brief survey, and I can spell out that survey. It's surveymmonkey.com/r/R, C like cat, Z like zebra, 339K like kitten. And we'd love to hear from you. And again, the comment period is through Wednesday, September 15th, so there's other time to provide comments via email or leave us a phone number at 860-944-1111. And our email address is dotproject120-94@ct.gov. And if you're leaving a voicemail, please indicate the project number 120-94. I want to thank you guys so much for coming out tonight, or at least virtually. At least you're not out in the rain. Thank you again. I'm Stephanie Brooks, and it was great to be moderating with you tonight.
And yeah, this is Jeff Pappinger from the Department of Transportation. On behalf of the department, I'd just like to thank everybody for taking time out of their nights to be with us today, ask questions. As Stephanie mentioned, we do have a comment period that is open for another couple weeks. So if you think of any questions when you get home, feel free to email them to dotproject120-94@ct.gov. And we will enter them into the project record, provide any additional information that you're looking for. And with that, it appears as though the comments have sort of slowed down. So I think that we're going to call it a night. Again, thanks everybody for coming and enjoy the rest of your evening.